Welcome to HBEC IP Holistic Podcast. I'm Felix Yuen. I'm the IP and Commercialization Advisor at Henry Bernick Entrepreneurship Center, HBEC, at Georgian College. And today we are very happy to have Sarah Sekalala from the Siika Foods, the founder of Siika Foods, to tell us more about her stories, her products, her business, and how we actually work together. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, Sarah, can you tell us a little bit more about your company and your products?
So at Siika Foods, we craft African-inspired gourmet cooking sauces made with locally sourced ingredients. Our sauces are versatile, gluten-free, vegan, and they're made, with African heritage rooted into them for the everyday meals.
That is amazing. So African is a main point here, and people are looking for the African flavors. And were you a chef before you started this?
I'm a self-made chef.
Self-made chef. And how do you even have this idea of starting a sauce company?
Mm-hmm. So starting Siika Foods actually came out of a real nostalgia, kind of missing home meals, the smells and the aromas on streets, the spices we're used to. So coming to Canada was really a challenge, really recreating those dishes. So for me, it was out of that real struggle of really getting the flavors I was used to. The other one was really that when we came to Canada, we were hosted by a beautiful family, but we were so many in the house. So we were looking at 12 to 15 people. So making meals and having them on time, we had toddlers, we had children. It was so tough to have meals on time. So having sauces like this, I started recreating, because I'm really rooted into making African-inspired meals. So I looked around me, I got some sauces, started making them, putting them in the fridge, and it was so easy for us to make meals. Now, where was chaos, now we had meals on time. So that's how Siika Sauce started.
That's amazing. And you started off as a self-made chef because you can't find something similar out there. Also, turning into a business is a journey. So I'm sure you have a lot of stories to tell us. Okay, how do you actually find the right timing, find the right spot? Okay, now I have to do this business so that people can enjoy your sauce too. Can you share with us?
Well, I have found that most businesses really prosper well when their stories are attached to them. Our story is beautiful because it combines our journey. It combines the real strengths we have around our cooking, but also because we want to share. So to us, it's really sharing what we know how to, and then make that. You can only do so much because you really have to share that story, and the only way you can do it is by putting into a business. And now we are able to reach a wider community.
Right, so it's about the connections with the community. And do you only focus on the African community, or do you actually want to bring it to the whole wide world so that they can also taste the African flavors too?
The reason we say we're versatile and we're authentic and we are also on purpose is that we want to share our sauces not only to our community but also to the wider community. Currently, right now, authentic flavors are the ongoing thing. It's the new thing. We're expected, from statistics, we know that we have a huge market going around authentic flavors. I mean, it's estimated to 100 billion right now globally, but it's about 5 billion for just authentic flavors. So we know that not only is it a purpose, but it's our chance to really share our heritage to the world. So no, we're not only concentrating on the African. Yes, we want the diaspora Africans, but we are also looking at the food lovers around the world to be able to enjoy our sauces.
We all love food, and I resonate very well with this because also from as a newcomer from another country, we always go to supermarkets and try to find the best ingredients. Not always that we find the right one. It may be a little bit adapted to the local flavors, maybe American made, Canadian made. Not a bad thing. It's just that it may not be as close to our own origin. That kind of nostalgic ideas, right? So that is very important to us to have.
Yes.
Connecting the community is very important for a business, right? Because it is really about the African community, African inspired flavors. how do you get your stories out to them?
So what I have found out, especially for outstanding brands, and I am including Siika Foods, that people love where you tell a story well and you really are grounded in your stories. People want to know, before they actually buy the product, they want to know the story. So they are really looking at, I share our journey very well. I share why we do it, but also because we want to involve all of them. So our stories are always very dynamic, but also come up front before they even see the product. So them knowing the challenges I go through, or the food, the kind of foods we bring on the table, or even just having that idea of really knowing about another culture. So it's through that transformation we are looking at. So our sources are mainly about connecting, transforming culture into connections.
Amazing.
So using stories.
And the stories obviously include the name itself. And Siika Foods, can you share with us what it actually means in the original language?
So Siika Foods is actually from my motherland and my mother tongue, which is Luganda, and it means the process of flavoring foods. So just imagine a raw fish, and then you transform it in whatever form you want. Some people can just use the sauce to get to the next nourishing, delicious meal. So it's the same way our name is transforming. It's a process of transforming culture and, transforming it to culture to connection. So that transformation using food and connect with our stories, with our flavors, is a way of us using our name, Siika Foods, to transform culture and bridge that gap between different cultures. So connection to culture.
And obviously, when people know the language, they will see what it means.
Yes,
right.
It's surprising sometimes. It's after I tell them, "Do you remember Siika?" And oh my God, that's the name. Yes, so yes, so it's not only easy to pronounce for most people, but it's also a very connected to where we come from our roots.
Actually, a very good point, because it has to be very easily remembered and pronounced. Mm-hmm. Siika Foods is such a good trademark and brand name. How do you actually protect it?
So protecting and our intellectual property is complex and costly. And in a competitive market we're in, our niche is fierce, So, but we are very intentional. We want to look at our logo. We've started off with our logo, our name, as well as protecting around our processes and our recipes. Now, it's still not easy to balance that, given that you have to serve a wider community, but it's just a balancing act in between there.
Yeah. So obviously, you have the stories to tell, you have the recipe to protect, you have the brand name that you can tell people, and protecting all these involves a lot of strategies, a lot of thinking. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it needs money, trademarking, right? Mm-hmm. I know that you have got support from HBEC, mm-hmm. as well as other programs out there. Do you find them useful, and how do you make use of these resources?
So intellectual property, like I mentioned before, is really complex. It's costly. But we have been lucky to be part of the HBEC program, because we not only, even though we could probably access the funding, it is the expertise we get to be able to narrow down what we can, because it's so wide. So having that help from the experts to give us information and narrow down and say, let's start off with a logo, let's start off this. So it's really a combination of that. And of course, under the HBEC, we are able to access part of a grant to help us to start that journey. So that has been the expertise as well as the support from the grant.
When it comes to your background being an immigrant to Canada, do you find this an advantage or actually a burden to you when you start a business, protect your idea, protect your knowledge, know-how? Do you find it a special journey for you compared to the other entrepreneurs in Canada?
Well, I would say nothing is easy in life. but most especially when you have identical, things which you can really just reach out. Being in a new country is already a challenge enough, but to have that trust from from different organizations or from accessing resources, being an immigrant can be a little bit of a challenge. But I also discovered that despite all those challenges, there are also a lot of opportunities. They say around chaos or any kind of challenges, there's always opportunities. So I've found it to my advantage, and especially around this time, that I'm able to really push myself forward despite all the challenges and take advantage of that. And there are lots of programs which are really strategically put in place for immigrants, for women, for Africans. So I'm really reaching out to all of those organizations to make sure I take full advantage to grow my business.
Can I ask you this question? So let's ask you for 2 tips for entrepreneurs out there. One, in general, for business, for newcomers in Canada. How they can do business with this tip, and the second on intellectual property. What should they think about?
So I would say for immigrants, we come from different business landscapes. The first thing you need to do is to really definitely study and get you kind of undress where you come from and learn afresh, knowing how it operates here. Because if we bring how we do business back home, it won't work. So it's important for somebody to just know this is a different landscape, start from scratch, and just give it all you got. Probably partly also to focus, because when we come in, we are very excited about the new dreams we can have here. So it can be very challenging to really focus and say, I'm going to take on one line and then learn to do that and then be successful. Then the other one, you said that, because the other question was about HBEC.
Yeah, on intellectual property, do you have something to tell them?
So I know that most of the time we kind of think it won't be necessary, or you think at some point you'll do it at some point. But what I've found that having that, you can't just do it overnight. So it's a journey you need to start on. But you don't wait until probably it's necessary to do it. It is important that you start off, even if you just start off with 1 or 2 items, because along the way, it's going to be giving your business more credibility, but also because it's so complex, you want to make sure you start on it so that you protect what you have built. I mean, it will be not a good thing if you don't protect your business.
So start early, grasp all the opportunities, and step forward to take chances.
Yes.
That are very beautiful tips. And now, coming back to your products, we have 3 flavors here, right? Can you tell us a bit more about them?
So we have cooking bases, and all of them basically is to really save you time from making meals. So where you are supposed to be chopping vegetables, you kind of avoid that and then just have the sauces done. But also we have packed them with a lot of vegetables. So as the prices of vegetables are going, this is your go-to solution. The other one is that most people are intimidated in cooking, or they're just too busy with schedules. This is your go-to product, because then you don't have to worry about how am I going to go around the stores and get these products. When you have this in your pantry, you're covered, and you can whip up meals anywhere you can. But finally, I think it is the time and era in the world where we need to learn about other cultures. So if you have this, and the best thing is locally sourced here. So meaning that the vegetables we use in here, everything we use in here, we're just different on how we cook. So if you want to travel to Africa for $2,000 or any other country you want to do, you save yourself with just a job sauce. So that's
African flavored, Canadian sauce, and internationally outreach. So that is amazing. You have everything in one sauce. That is beautiful. What do we expect in the coming months from you? Will you have more different flavors to come out, or do you have other plans that will surprise us?
One of the major things we want to do is, even before we expand our products, we want to make sure we have good partnerships from where we can scale, meaning our co-packers, to where we're going to sell it. So the main thing we're going to be doing in the next 5 months is mainly capturing those partnerships that we really want to get into the mainstream. We also want to be there's a lot of work around a business, especially when you're doing food products. A CPG it requires a lot of refreshing up. So we want to make sure we capture that before we expand. We also have plans to do trade missions. So I'm now involved in a few trips to just make sure we bring our presence onto the international market, so we'll be able to capture that. But there's also the mainstreams where I pitched our business. So in the next few months, we might be able to be seen on some of the mainstreams, and we're excited about that. And then after that, we want to also attach some complementing our sauces, such as spices, marinades, and other products within.
A lot of possibilities. Like you said, again, grab all the possibilities, right?
Yes, we can.
We are really looking forward to these new developments coming up and hope that we can see them and can find them everywhere in this market.
We're hoping you can also find us online as well. So we're hoping to be able to get our sources. We're already on e-commerce, but we want to see that we can actually find you. You can find us in the main stores around you.
Where can we find them now?
Right now in specialty stores in the GTA. But you can also find us on our e-commerce, siikafoods.com. You can also, if you're within our proximity, we can deliver. So, yes.
So I hope the audience will check out the nice sauces over here and make sure, even if you are busy, even if you're lazy, that will be the right sauce for you, because you will also learn the culture, the history, the language, and every beautiful thing around the world. Am I right?
Yes, and you support local businesses, so we're Canadian based.
Of course. Support local business, support our partner here. Thank you so much, Sarah, today.
Thank you so much, Felix, for having me.